I want to talk about the process for a few minutes. When this job came open in early December, and we put out the notice that it was open, we received 44 resumes and 15 to 20 inquiries. By that I mean people calling about the job. Some people want to know, of course, what it pays, what are you looking for, what are my chances, seeing if it fits to them, and then they either apply or they don't. So we had about 15 or 20 of those. And of the 44 resumes that we received, 29 were coaches with head coaching experience, which was kind of what we were looking for. There was a very strong field of resumes. We looked through those things with a very particular eye and calling many references to try to find out those that we wanted to talk to, and of which we did. Ms. Bryan, our principal, Mr. Walker, our assistant principal, who has much coaching experience, Ms. Madden from the district office, and myself interviewed 7 candidates. Of those 7 candidates, we thought there were probably 5 or 6 that could run our program with great success. It was a strong field, and we chose the one at the top. When we chose our candidate, he was at the top of every person's list across the board. Felt good when you got a majority, everybody's throwing in like that. It feels good. All right, any questions because I'm getting ready to step out of here pretty quick. When I talk a little bit here about Chris, we've got some ball games postponed tonight. I need to get moving on that, but any questions about the process? Good, okay, that's good. I did good. All right, I did well. I told you I wasn't very good student. All right, I just not good. 17 years, Chris Liner, of coaching experience, 11 at Greenwood as an assistant, and 6 as the head coach at 96. I'm going to read my bullets. At 96, Chris was 43-26 with a playoff appearance every year. Last year he was 9-3. I kept up with his teams as they rolled along, making it to the 3rd round of the playoffs. He's a math teacher. Now here's the best part. He is what I call a total program coach. And I'm going to tell you what I mean about that. He's coached both sides of the ball. He'll have his hand definitely in player academic affairs. He runs his youth football camps and will do so here. He involves his team in community service. He has great interest in the personal lives of his players. He has the command presence to give orders to staffs and to coaching staffs, and the presence that they want to do, I believe, what he directs them to do. A good leader. He will lead our strength training and conditioning program. He's coached many skilled quarterbacks through the years, which is the key position now. 5 or 6 that have played after high school, including the great All-American Armani Edwards at the great University of Appalachian State, the greatest university, and others who have played onward. Chris will be in our community and in our churches. He'll be in our buildings. He'll be an active part in every phase of our community and of our program and of our school. Matter of fact, he may be living just right around the corner, maybe closer to the practice field than the practice field is from the school. We all know his great daddy-in-law, a legend around here, our friend Buck. I wish you brought Buck in here today, and we'll see him around. It's been a pleasure getting to know Chris and listening to his plan and design for Raider Day. His wife Meredith, a Lawrence High School graduate, former teacher of the year in the Greenwood district. Glad to have Meredith with us. This is Emma.
She's 7.
7. K 10. Glad to have you with us. Fire away.
Coach, I know you got a lot of connections to Lawrence. What led you, coming from Greenwood to 96, what led you to sit here today?
I think that's the biggest thing is our team motto at 96 from day one has been family. And to us, that is the most important thing. And, I know there's a lot of pressures going on probably all over the country this week, with head coaching changes, this, that, and the other. The college game's gotten, almost ridiculous to the point where I don't even know who's where anymore. But when it comes right down to it, there's a lot of good talkers, and you're going to hear from a lot of those this week and next week and the week after. We believe in action and doing what practicing what you preach. And, family to us is enormously important. We treat our players like our sons. And you could call any kid on our team right now and ask them that question, and they would tell you the exact same thing. Family is enormously important to us. Coach Sheldula, who's probably had the biggest impact on my life of any other person, on the face of this earth is a Lawrence man. Ken Alexander is a Lawrence man, gave me my first job. And, my grandmother's a Patterson. She's from Lawrence. And, I used to pick blackberries off her fence out near Watts Mill. And, I made many trips to Lawrence as a child. And, I probably got 12, 13 uncles that, are in Lawrence and, tons of cousins. Of course, my beautiful wife is from Lawrence. And, her mother was, and father, probably two of the nicest people I've ever known, and just great, people in the community. And so, if you're going to preach family, and we have an opportunity to really, pull that family and be even more tight-knit, then, this was an unbelievable chance for us to do that. And, we're enormously excited about it. We'll be living literally 200 yards from the practice field, and we've already talked about building a pond and all that kind of stuff. I've had 2 jobs, and this will be my 18th year coming up, and maybe my Achilles heel in today's world is loyalty. I am an enormously loyal guy, and for all that, you got to take care of yours, and you got to you worry about this and worry about that. That's not me. I worry about our family, and that family today, as of today, is the entire Lawrence community.
Now, Coach, where were you raised up, and where did you graduate from high school?
I'm from Greenwood, South Carolina. I went to Greenwood High School. I spent a brief time, well, not a brief time, I was at Clemson a good while. And anyway, ended up getting a couple degrees out of that. So, but I went right back to Greenwood. Coach Steele had gotten the job there, and he asked me to be part of his first staff, and I stayed there pretty much the whole time except for 1 year. I was at 96 1 year before he retired, so I coached there a long time, played there, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks in Greenwood that wonder why I'm sitting here in front of Lawrence, in Lawrence right now, but Lawrence is special to us, and we're exactly where we want to be.
Now, you say you played at Greenwood. What positions?
I played wide receiver, strong safety. I punted, I held, and that was back in the days where there wasn't a lot of completely two platooning. So it was done a little bit of everything, coached a little bit of everything. But I wasn't a great player by no means. I was a decent player, and got my head caved in as a walk-on at Clemson for a little while. So I can't boast anything there, but it was a good experience.
Coach, what's the biggest thing that you learned coaching with Shell?
I think kind of what I just said, loyalty and commitment. I think attitude's important. Again, there's a lot of people that talk, but and I'm going to quote Emerson here. We want our actions to be so loud you can't hear what we're saying, and that's kind of what we do. Is there's not going to be any question at any time. I think transparency is huge in today's world. Communication is huge in today's world. I want to talk to everybody I can get in front of and ask them their opinion, because their opinion matters to me. And I think that's something that Coach Dula stressed very much was, it is a family atmosphere. You treat people like human beings, and you care about what they think. And the most important thing in my life is relationships. It's not money. I kidded Coach Friesen then when I first interviewed. I don't have any idea what I make at 96. I have no idea what my salary is. And I know that may seem childish or immature or, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I don't. And that's not important. I kind of know when I do my taxes at the end of the year because I teach math. I don't want anybody else doing them. But that's never been important. The important part is the relationships, because when it's all said and done, that's all you have. I don't want to be part of a one-car funeral. And unfortunately, it's sad now, but you see a lot more of that.
Coach, you've had a history of developing quarterbacks, which is critical here at this point. What do you do as far as working with quarterbacks and developing them to to get to the point where you've gotten some of the ones in the past?
I think it's important to get them started early. That's something that, if you look at the Burnses and even the North Augustas now and at Greenwood and a lot of places that have really been able to sustain some success or maybe, become the new kids on the block. Now they're very successful. I know Coach Pippen has got his guys doing it from the youth programs up. Coach Bentley's done that for a long time now. There are a lot of people that are trying to adopt that model, and that's very difficult because to get people that coach at Park and Rec or even at your middle schools to buy into what you're doing, it takes a lot of work. But I've been called many things in my life, but never lazy. And that's something that we will start immediately. And I think building those relationships, letting those kids know that they can trust you. If we're all honest with ourselves, in today's world, most adult men have let them down. So it takes a long time sometimes to build that trust with young men in your community because they've never been able to trust men per se. They may have a granddad or somebody from an older generation that takes time with them, but a lot of guys from my generation and younger, to me that's the number one problem in the world is men aren't acting like men. And I think every problem from there on out stems from that. And so I think building those relationships early, letting them know that you genuinely care about them and that you're not just a talker, that you want them to be successful and have every opportunity. And then the talent just kicks in. I think we've been very fortunate to have a lot of talented kids, and I've been very fortunate to look really good at times where it had absolutely nothing to do with me. It was that kid was born with that God gave him, the talent that God gave him, and Coach Schreiner just kind of helped him along the way. And so I'd be a liar if I sat here and told you that I had everything to do with all the quarterbacks that have signed under my tutelage. That's not the case. They were born that way, and I just helped them find other avenues. Now, I'm very aggressive. We spend lots of times at camps. I go to spring practice probably 7 or 8 times. I'm gone to Glazer clinics. I've been all over the Southeast asking questions. I'm like that little kid that I will ask you a million questions until you tell me to leave. And because I want to know the best way to go about doing things and kind of mesh them with our own ideas. And I know I'm giving you a big time chase the rabbit answer, but we'll get them started early. We know what we're doing in that regard. We're going to put them in front of other people that really know what they're doing. I've worked the upstate football camp with Coach Bentley for the last 5 years, and have worked a lot of other camps. Worked Furman's quarterback camp for several years, and so we're gonna give our kids the opportunity, not just from me, but to hear from other people that if you had a judge and jury and you needed a quarterback expert to hit the stand, that they're going to meet those guys.